You or someone you love needs help for an addiction. Where do you turn? Foundations Recovery Network offers individualized treatment for the whole person. Our goal goes beyond short-term sobriety. We address substance abuse and co-occurring mental health issues together, providing a firm foundation for long-term recovery. The first step is often the hardest, but we're here with a free assessment, insurance information, and treatment options. Our confidential helpline is available 24/7, so call 877-714-1318 and discover the Foundations Recovery Network difference today.
This is Rich Roll, and you're listening to Sober Guy Radio.
Yo, what's up? Thanks for tuning in today. Thanks to Humans for bringing us in. Thanks to you for supporting the show. Be sure to check us out at thatsoberguy.com for past episodes and resources. Also, connect with us on Instagram and Twitter. You can find it at RealThatSoberGuy on Instagram and at Shane Raymer on Twitter. We have the first Sober Guy live show coming up. That's September 7th at the Phoenix Theater in Petaluma, California. We have special guest TJ Woodward joining us. He's the author and creator of Conscious Recovery. You can go to thephoenixtheater.com or thatsoberguy.com/live events if you're interested in getting tickets. Once again, that's September 7th. And come check it out. Show us some love. We'd love to connect with you guys that are in the Northern California area and meet you and have some fun. So it's going to be a good time. Today's guest is my homie and co-founding member and former drummer from the band Papa Roach, Dave Buckner. Dave Buckner. Dave Buckner. What's up, man? How are you?
What it is. Raymer. How's it going, bro?
Dude, it's going good, dude. The last couple podcasts I've recorded, I've been in hotel rooms, and once again, I am holed up in a DoubleTree in Fresno, California. So, oh boy.
Exciting.
Yes, so much. Yeah. Yeah, man. So what's up with you, bro? How are you?
Dude, I'm doing pretty good, man. And just let me start off by saying thanks for the invite. I really appreciate any time I can make contact with you and just, chat with you about recovery and how our lives are going and share a little bit of my experience, strength, and hope or whatever, however all that goes. You know what I mean? Yeah. Love to do it. Love you, brother. And thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. I love you too, man. That's super cool. And I know it's kind of last minute today. It was like I was going to record a monologue, and I'm like, I'll just hit Dave up and see if he's down to shoot the shit a little bit, man. So I appreciate you taking the time, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
So I know we got a chance to chat a little bit earlier. What's been going on with recovery? I know you've been diving in a lot to Refuge, of course. That's kind of your gig. I know you went down to Venice recently. What's up with that? How's all that going? We have some listeners who are definitely interested in learning more about Refuge and stuff. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about it and what you've been up to.
Yeah, well, so just first things first, I just celebrated my first continuous 2 years of sobriety ever.
Yeah, son.
Yeah, man.
That's dope, bro. Congrats.
Dude, thank you so much. It's been a long, hard road. I've been trudging along and keeping the faith and not giving in when sometimes I felt like, what am I doing, man? How come I'm not getting this? You know what I mean? And finally, after 11 years, I got my first 2 years. So I'm really proud of that. And, it just happens to coincide with the my discovery of a new program called Refuge Recovery, which is a Buddhist approach to recovery.
Yeah, it's dope, dude. I can't believe it's been 2 years already either, because the last when you came on the podcast the first time, I think that was just after you had celebrated 1 year. And so I have to go back and look at what episode that was, but that really flew by, bro.
It really did, man. Like the time just seems to fly by nowadays, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I'm getting old, man. Getting old, dog. That's, you know how we do.
As long as we stay young up here in the brain, man. You know what I mean? We've got to, keep a young attitude, but yeah, man. I mean, the years fly by.
I know. I was telling my lady, I was like, it's like, man, because I just turned 37, and I don't feel like I'm getting older. You know what I'm saying? I still feel pretty young at heart, and still pretty active and physically in decent shape, but I swear, like, as I see my kids and stuff too, I'm like, wow, man, this life is it's so precious and it goes by so quick. I'm really just trying to enjoy every moment of it,
Exactly. I feel that, dude. I mean, I see, I got my kids too, and I just watch them grow and learn, and I just try and be the best, coach and guide that I can along the way, and do my duties as a father. And make sure I'm keeping everything on the up and up and staying in the moment and mindful and doing what I got to do.
Yeah. And so I think that's kind of a good lead in actually to, living in the moment. Obviously meditation, prayer for a lot of people, both of those combined together, whatever it is out there that anyone's doing, and yours, is a meditation practice. And how does that like help keep you in the moment and living in the moment and doing those things, kind of slowing life down?
Well, for me, so meditation, especially for anyone who's listened to the first time I was here on the show, I kind of broke down my whole story, I really, really broke down. I think we did like a super long interview and I got it all out, man. So if you want to go get that part of the story, by all means, anyone who's listening, go listen to my first appearance on the show and you can find all that stuff out. But, so just now jumping into the now, meditation has become, I would like to say it's a daily part of my practice. That would be an untruth, but I meditate as often as I can and pretty regularly. I just recently began, virtually attending, a meditation / Dharma talk given by my boy, Noah Levine down in Venice. He broadcasts his meditation Dharma talks on Mondays at 7:30 p.m. So my wife and I have been tuning in regularly to those, and that's part of our practice. It's part of what's keeping me sober, and it's really good to hear him talk. And then also, like when you meditate with other people, it's more powerful. Even if you're not in the same room together, if you're like just connected by the internet or whatever, like it's powerful. There's something different to it that's more powerful than just doing it on your own. And that's part of the Buddhist, the three jewels of Buddhism, which is Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So like, we follow the teachings of the Buddha. We follow, like the examples that he laid out in his life, and then the Dharma, which is the teachings, and then the Sangha, which is kind of the most important thing, which is like, finding other people like yourself. And when you can meditate, go to, attend meetings, or even if you just go to like a Buddhist meditation center where they're having a meditation. It's good to get in the room with others who are on the same level you are and who are doing the same things you are. Kind of like AA, like same difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's always, it's like the fellowship. So
what was the trip when we went out? We went to the Refuge meeting out in Sac a few months back. That was the first time. Well, it wasn't the first time, because I definitely did it in rehab. We had a lot of group therapy and a lot of group meditation sessions, and I think we did qigong even in there, which was really, really cool too. But it was my first experience when we went to that meeting, like in at least in a smaller setting meeting where I didn't know anybody, where we did an open, I think it was 20-minute meditation. And that was totally different than doing meditation by myself, like being in that group setting. And what was crazy too is like you can hear people swallowing and you can hear people's stomach rumbling, and it was just like this. It was a really, really cool experience though, and it really does something to kind of open you up.
Yeah, for sure, man. And it's all part of, while you're sitting there in the meditation, doing your best to be quiet and centered and in the moment. Yeah, like, man, you hear other people moving around, or you like hear noises in the room and stuff like that, but that's all part of it. And then another part of it is that, a lot of people, when they begin meditating, they're like, well, you're supposed to like be able to quiet your mind and like,
yeah,
that kind of thing. Like, how do I quiet my mind? Or what if I get uncomfortable? And it's like, that's part of it. Like, it really is. It's about using your awareness, the awareness behind, because like our brains are computers, man. And they're built to run thought processes all day long. And that's just what they do. They do it without us having to tell them to do it. That's just part of what it is.
Yeah.
And so when you meditate, it's about getting in touch with the awareness, like behind that computer, and realizing like, okay, these thoughts are flying by. My mind's going here. It's living in the past, or like it's thinking about some memory, or it's thinking about whatever noise I just heard in the room, or like, the ache in my back, or the itch, from a mosquito bite, or you start, running plans in the future. Like, yeah, dude, the brain just does all that stuff on its own. But like sitting there and going, okay, I acknowledge that that's all happening, but I'm going to be aware of it and sort of look at it step away from that, and use your awareness to look at it as opposed to being in it.
Well, and you're so right, man, like how powerful our minds are. I trip out on that sometimes, man. I'll just start thinking about it. And one of the things that is talked about a lot, and I've heard Noah say it quite a few times, and I think I've heard TJ talk about it, TJ Woodward, is like that our minds have a mind of their own in a sense. And so for me, like this thing of trying to not take things personal and understanding that like my soul and my heart is separate from my brain has been like a really weird thing to even try to understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, could you give any thought to that?
Yeah, man. That's been a revelation to myself actually too. And just to recognize that, like I said, like, the mind works on by itself. But when you sit there and you meditate and you sit, you can become the awareness behind all of that activity. Yeah. And you kind of, and part of it is, they call it, part of the practice of mindful meditation is, don't space on me, Dave. See, the mind's not working. I'm forgetting the term, but it's about, like taking inventory of the tone of the moment, whether or not it's a pleasant tone, a neutral tone, or a uncomfortable tone. You know what I mean? So, and then when you can sit there and label that, like, okay, like you see, a thought will fly by and you go, that was a thought. That's a thought about the past. Yeah. That's about, that's a thought about the future. Like that's the itch on my leg from a mosquito bite. Like now there's a noise in the room. And then you just kind of label all those things. And instead of like, like getting annoyed or getting kind of sucked into the process of like being like annoyed or affected by those things, you just quietly label them and then you refocus your attention on the breath. And then, that's huge. That the breath is huge because it's something that you can focus on, just like letting your breath sort of flow in and out of you, letting the air fall into your lungs and then sort of like, like fall out of your lungs, and like without even trying. Because we breathe without even trying too. That's another thing that we all do. Yeah. Like you don't have to try to breathe, you know what I mean? And you just sit there and you like concentrate on that, and allowing yourself to become relaxed, allowing the belly to become soft, and really just acknowledging like that you are here. This is what's happening now. And that sort of thing. I don't know if did that kind of explain it? No, did that shed some light on it?
It does, bro. And I think for everybody, obviously everybody's different. Everyone has different experiences, and everyone kind of takes in, what everyone kind of downloads differently, I guess. But it's funny that like, you were kind of saying that, and towards the end though, I started thinking, like hearing you kind of explain it. I'm like, bro, I wonder if Dave ever thought, like, 15, like 20 years ago, that he'd be having a conversation about like meditation and stuff, like this life on, like you've lived two totally different lives, dude. It's like, it's kind of a trip. Do you ever think about that?
I do. I mean, well, as I told in my other interview, meditation is part of my story. It's part of a practice that I began as a young man. And I even get into, I used to meditate before shows, when I was playing, even when we were a local band, like back in the 90s. Yeah. I would meditate before shows to kind of get myself ready to do the gig. You know what I mean? And that would help center me and focus my energy on what I had to do. And I continued that process, that practice into, well into after we got signed and we started touring the world. And then, life took its turn and my story, took its turn, and I fell out of that practice. But now I've been reconnected with it. And so here I am now, come full circle. Yeah. And I'm back into the practice of meditation. And are
you starting to step out a little more and share your story a little bit more?
Like whenever I can. It's not, I kind of, I came on your show and I used it as a platform to like get my story out there, like just for all the fans, because there was two folds, there's two purposes for that interview. One, to share my recovery, but also to kind of like let people know where I was coming from. Yeah. In my story, like, like who is Dave? Like, what was his role in the band? Like, and I just kind of let it be known, like, and I tell people quietly, like, I don't I'm not really so much of a platform guy. I don't get up and like, speak my truths from my soapbox or on top of a mountain. I just kind of more quietly share my story in small circles with people that I'm close to, or people that I happen to encounter who want to know. Sometimes I'm running into fans who want to know, like, how are you doing? What's life been like? Or sometimes, I just got into a conversation the other day on Instagram, and this fan reached out to me and was like, hey, do you ever miss being in the band? I'm like, of course I do. Of course I miss it, but my life has taken another path. And then I really broke down, kind of like, first thing you kind of got to know is like, with, in that case, in that band, like, I wasn't just some guy that the band hired to do a gig. Like, I wasn't just some guy along for the ride. Like, I built the band, I built the brand. I was there for all the platinum records and stuff like that. And so, and now that I've stepped away from that and I'm living a different life, like my main gig nowadays is stay-at-home dad. You know what I mean? My main priority in life is maintaining my sobriety, living a spiritual life, a family life, and, doing small things here and there where I can to help others when I can, get out of living in my own head and stepping out and doing something to contribute, even if it's in a small way. It is what it is. It's my story. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Well, I think, just in for life in general, there's a lot of acceptance involved for all of us in different aspects of our lives. Whether we're going through whatever it is we're going through at any point in life. And so we have these huge changes, we have small changes, all kinds of things that life throws at us. And like, I know for me, one of the biggest things that I'm constantly having to work on is like acceptance. And I'll give you, and here's a very small example. Like today, I'm on my way down to Fresno, and I have all these meetings that we're doing in the next couple of days. And I have a couple shirts that I am supposed to wear for these meetings. And I get to Manteca and I left them in Vacaville. And I'm like, shit. So, yeah, exactly. It's like, what do you do? And the old me probably would have got really pissed off. It probably would have ruined my day. I would have been festering on it, for the rest of the evening and trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And, oh, man, my shirts and this and that. But literally, it took me about 10 minutes to just accept the fact and go, okay, whatever. I got some T-shirts. I'll have to figure something out. And that's came through like a practice, obviously, right? We're constantly practicing. That's a small example. So, like, what has acceptance been like for you in your journey, like through all the different ups and downs of life?
Oh man, acceptance is key. It's a huge part of it, man. It's for me, part of my path, a lot of the things that happen in life, like we have no control over a lot of times, you know what I mean? It's about staying in the present moment, staying in the present time awareness, and whatever it is that's going on, just realize that there really are no problems. There's only solutions. So even if there's a roadblock in front of you, go ahead and acknowledge it so that you can get past it and figure out what you're going to do next. And that's kind of been something that's developed over time in my life, but it's something that is hugely important to me. And also maintaining a aspect of gratitude in all that I do. Because, we only get, if we're lucky, about 75 years in this place. You know what I mean?
If we're lucky.
And so,
right?
You know what I mean? And this life, I mean, people are living longer and longer every day, but, the average person, we get 75 years here, man. And we all come here for a purpose. We all have our own reason for being here. And firstly, like getting in tune with that and realizing what that is. And for me, I realized it was making music. And so I pursued that with every bit of energy that I had in my being and in my soul. And, the work paid off. And, it got me to a certain place in my life that, I never thought I'd get. And it's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? And then that came to an end. That part of, that act of the play came to an end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, not to say that I wasn't quick to be accepting of it. I was trust me, by the end, I knew I had to get out of the game or I wasn't going to be alive, straight up. You know what I mean? I tell people that every day. I'm like, if I had continued down that path, I really don't think I'd be here today. And so there was a level of accepting the fact that I needed to do something to change in a big way. Otherwise, I didn't think that I was going to, I wasn't going to make it.
Do you think you'll ever make music again, or do you want to make music again?
Oh, I mean, I make music all the time, dude. I mean, I've had other projects, since I've left the band, and, I stayed busy, I stayed connected. I had a project working with Ben Moody of Evanescence for a couple years, and Lucas Rossi, who's a great vocalist. And then I had an entirely other project, a different project, working with Marcos Curiel from POD, and Lucas was also the vocalist on that project. I had a 2-man band going with my boy Jake DeRoche, Jake D from the Lonely Kings, who's also, by the way, the guy who turned me on to Noah Levine's book, Dharma Punks, way back, like way back in 2004 or so. He suggested that I read this book, and I didn't listen to him then, but then Then when I became aware of the Refuge Recovery book and the program, inlined in it, I knew the name sounded familiar. So I picked up the Refuge Recovery book first, and then I think I ordered both books at the same time on Amazon. I'm like, let me get Refuge and let me get Dharma Punks. And I was
gonna say it's so funny how that comes around, like that circle. You know what I mean? Like how you didn't pick it up at that time, but then it found you later on. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like it's like it found you. You didn't find it almost.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then it's funny because, the universe was throwing me a guidepost back in the day and I didn't pay attention. And then it came back around again and I paid attention.
Yeah.
And now here I am. And I'm a big proponent of listening to the universe or God or source or higher power, whatever it is, whatever label you want to put on it.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, there's a voice inside all of us that, at first it seems like a quiet whisper, you know what I mean? That just trying to guide us in the right direction. And a lot of times we don't listen, especially people like us, addicts, you know what I mean? We don't, we want to do what we want to do. We want to do whatever it is, at first, we want to party, you know what I mean? And then we turn to the substances to get through pain or to mask, pain, whatever it is we're experiencing. And then it comes to a point where it just becomes so much part of what we do that we don't know how to stop. You know what I mean? We don't know how to go through something without trying to change the way we feel about it by using external substances. Mm-hmm. And so, that little voice that started off as a whisper way back then has, now that I've been paying more and more attention to it and I follow the direction, and I realize, whether or not you want to say that's my higher self guiding me, or that's God, or that's the universe, or that's the source, you know what I mean? Or the universal algorithm, whatever you want to call it, dude, it's there to help you. Yeah. And so that voice has now become louder and louder. And it's now become this thing that I sort of, I not even sort of, in a very real way, I rely on that to guide me through sometimes, moment by moment, because, sobriety is not something that you can put on the back burner, at least not for me. Yeah. I realize that everything in my life, revolves, all the blessings that I have in my life revolve around the fact that I'm able to stay sober, because I know when I fall off and when I've had stumbling blocks along the way, my life falls apart very quickly, very, very quickly. And then and even that was a progressive thing, because, I used to kind of be able to get away with it. I'd have little relapses here and there, even in recovery, seemed like about every year I would relapse. Sometimes I'd be like, oh, I got a year, I'm going to celebrate by drinking, you know what I mean? I'd have some you know what I mean?
That shit's so funny, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Holy shit, yeah.
Or, I'm having trouble here and there. I don't know how to deal with this, and that old gnarly disease, dude, would just kind of be on my back and I'd fall off.
Well, I think that's such the big thing too, because it's so easy. I'd be a liar if I said sometimes there are not times when I feel, pressure or stress and I'm like, man, dude, a fat blunt right now would make me feel great. Or, you know what I mean? Some right. Booze to just relieve some of this stress. And
right.
I tend now, to let those, I don't have the thoughts all the time, but I don't push them out. I just acknowledge them and kind of let them come in and let them go, because I know I'm not going to do that. But
right.
At the same time, that I don't think those thoughts ever go away. And now in this life, and I'm with you too, bro. Like everything that, all the good blessings and stuff that God's blessed me with and my family and everything, you know, it's so much stuff. And it all starts with like just putting substances aside and trying to figure my shit out. But dude, like as that happens, and even as recovery goes on, we hear about, you know, plenty of homies out there who have had years clean and sober, and then all of a sudden something happens and they fall off, and some of them don't make it back. And so that's the thing that keeps me just super vigilant on this shit, and really, like you said, kind of moment by moment trying to stay dialed into that, because I have a lot of fear involved in that, in like, what if, you know, and I try not to play that game too much, but do you ever get those thoughts? Like, do they pop in your head ever? Like, fuck, dude, this would be so easy just to do that. I mean, do you get those too?
All the time, dude. All the time. I mean, there's, you know, like if I run into a tough situation emotionally, or, you know, somebody, you know, something or somebody, you know, twisted me up a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's always that little, you know, our disease, you know, it's like, you know, it sits back in the corner and just like waits for us to be weak. That voice, I don't know if it'll ever go away, but the good news is that over time, you know, the voice that guides me in the right direction has become way louder than the voice that is trying to get me to fall off. And so, yeah, dude, absolutely. Like those moments happen, you know, on the regular. But I know that that's not a place that I can ever go back to. And thank God I never have been back to the deep, dark place and in the deep, you know, like dank levels of addiction where I was, you know, when I've had to first get sober. You know, like, you know, I've been in recovery for 11 years now, but, you know, I've had definitely speed bumps along the way. You know, I've had, you know, trials and tribulations, you know, but I never gave up, and I don't give up. I still don't give up. You know, they always say never quit before the miracle, and you know, I'll be damned, man, if I'm going to do that. You know, like I really want sobriety, and I need sobriety in my life, and that is what sustains me, you know, on the day to day. Yeah, dude. So like, how does it feel to be sober and be a father, bro? Like, I know that's been a huge thing for me, being a dad and being like sober and locked in, and like just my son not seeing me acting a fool. You know what I mean? Like I used to, man. And that's something I take a lot of pride in. Like, how about for you, man? Like, what's that been like, just being in this state of mind today, and being a dad? It feels absolutely wonderful, dude. It's the best thing ever, man. Just to be there and be present for your kid, to be able to, you know, engage, and to have like a moment where, like, you know, you're looking at each other in the eye, you're having a heart to heart or whatever. Like, you know, if he has some, you know, a rough day or whatever like that, I can help him through that. You know, like I'm being able to be present, be mindful of his needs. And now also with my, you know, I have a bonus kid now. In the last 3 years, me and my wife, when we got together, she had an older son of her own. So when we blended our families, you know, I always tell people I have 2 sons, you know, one by blood and one bonus child. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's
he's probably got his robe on right now, right?
Probably. He's probably wandering around the house listening to his headphones in his robe. Baby Hugh Hef.
Dude, I was dying when I came over there. He was in his robe, just chilling. Yeah, he's in his robe. That's what he does, man. Cool kid though, for sure, man.
Dude, I love both of my kids, man. They're great. They're everything, man. And also to be present, to be able to be in the here and now, you know, for my relationship with my wife, man. You know, it's something that I realized I never really had before. I've never really been able to accomplish that before, because either I've either not been sober, or I haven't been in tune enough to be in the present enough to be really there, you know, to be, you know, a supportive partner in a relationship, or to be, you know, like that quality partner that my partner deserves. You know what I mean? And the fact that she's sober too, she's also in recovery. She's able to be here with me and be supportive of my needs and help me. And it's a really, I mean, just to, you know, like our relationship is very much a team. Like it's a team thing. It's not like the old school model of a relationship where the husband's like, you know, the boss of the house or the man of the house, all that stuff like that. Like we are a 50-50 equal team on all levels. we operate our entire ship like that. You know what I mean? So, and the fact that we're both sober just makes it it's key. It's everything.
Well, I think it's cool too to have two people when you're in a relationship that are both very active in working on themselves to get better. And obviously that might come off to someone who doesn't understand kind of what I'm saying, like as like a selfish thing, but that's not how I mean it. Like, we have to work on ourselves to be good with ourselves and understand ourselves and work on past shit and everything that's going on in order to be in a healthy relationship. So to have two people who are, you know, rocking some step work together, you know what I mean? Like, even like Jess and I are both doing a step study right now. She's doing her women's one for codependency, and I'm doing the CR step study, the men's step study right now. And it's so awesome to be able to share that together, like, you know, like that progress and learning and all that kind of stuff. Like, you guys are both in recovery. You already mentioned that. Like, you guys get to do that together too. Like, how much doesn't that make you guys like so strong together? And
it really does.
It's not like you, I mean, I'm sure you guys have your challenges and differences, of course, at times, but you learn how to deal with them, I guess, right?
Of course, like we all do. I mean, there's an old saying, I don't know how old it is, whatever, but they're like, you know, all relationships go through stuff, but real relationships, the best relationships, get through stuff. You get through it together, man. You know what I mean? And as, you know, we both realize that we're two souls on this journey together.
Yeah.
But we're not like one person where each person has to feel the exact same way as the other person about everything, every time, all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes we disagree. But it's about, like I said, like being in tune with each other and being aware of each other and being able to be sober and be present and being able to support each other through stuff. And that's what it's all about. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I think like I had a guy, just reminded me of this. I had a guy in a men's group I was in probably 2 years ago now. And we were talking about just, you know, your family, wives, kids, stuff like that, how important that is, how to deal with different situations with them. And I guess he was dealing with a guy who had lost his wife to cancer at work. And the guy was obviously going through a really hard time. And he put it in perspective for him by talking a little bit about how God provides us gifts. And so when I'm able to put this in perspective of God has provided me gifts in my wife, in my kids, in blessings in life, like they're not mine to control. And when I can give that up, you know what I mean? And look at it like that, it helps me to deal with some of the situations and some of the things that I struggle with, because one of them is control. I'm not saying so much controlling people, but just controlling circumstances and shit that happens in life, dude. I mean, control is a big one, bro. Like, when I can let go, man, my days are way better. Way better.
That exactly, dude. And I forgot the point I was going to make about this, but I definitely hear exactly what you're saying. And it's like, I don't know if it's necessarily an addict thing, or if it's like something like everyone kind of struggles. I'm not sure, because I'm not everybody. I'm just me. But that's definitely been a challenge in my life too, trying to control situations, trying to control people, or trying to we get into like this, like, even if it's not malicious, like we tend, we'll be like finding ourselves, trying to manipulate situations to get the outcome we think we want, you know what I mean? Instead of kind of like letting go and kicking back and just putting one foot in front of the other and realizing it's going to work out in the best way possible and having faith that is going to happen. Like, like whatever the outcome is, it's going to be the best possible outcome for your journey at this time.
Yeah, bro.
So sorry.
No, you go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so whatever lesson that we need to learn, or whatever, challenge that we need to overcome, sometimes it's about stepping through those challenges, with a clear head and an open heart and the faith of realizing that it's going to work out. I mean, everything in our life has worked out up till now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's, why would it change any different? Especially not when you have first of all, your clear self, your best self on your side. And if you're a believer in God, you got God on your side. Yeah. So don't worry about it.
And I think that comes back to kind of what you were talking about in the beginning, man, with the meditation is just practice. Like that stuff, like everything you said is right on point, and all that stuff happens and falls into place when we're going with the flow and we're staying dialed in and we're practicing daily, just like the little things, you know what I'm saying? And then when those little things turn into something that's a big thing, we know by practicing from the little things how to deal and how to cope with some of the big things instead of turning to dope or alcohol or whatever the issue is at the time. Yeah, bro, it's a trip, dude. I could talk about this shit all day, bro, but I want to get into too, like, what's up? You have a couple of you have one project in particular that you're working on. I know you've been getting back into artwork. You're a good artist, dude. You're a great artist, bro. I've seen some of the drawings and some of the things that you do, but you've been working on some stickers and some sticker packs, dude. Tell us a little bit about that. What's up? What's going on there?
Yeah, dude. So I got this thing I'm doing right now, and it's called Rock Buddha, RCKBDHA, and it's just. It's my new art project that I'm working on right now. And it's kind of like its meaning it's kind of a personal brand, if you will. And it kind of just is something that I came up with actually years ago. In 2008, I had visited a Buddhist temple, a Buddhist stupa, they call it, in Sedona, Arizona. And on the property, they had this giant wooden Buddha sitting on a rock. Right. And I thought it was the coolest thing I had seen like in a long time. Right. Yeah. Then as I'm visiting the property and just taking it all in and being there and being in the moment. And this is before I even got back into meditation. I was just like, let's go check out this Buddhist thing. You know, me and my ex-lady. Yeah. You know, like when people go places and they'll stack rocks. You ever seen that like at the lake or the river?
Yeah, we just went on the backpacking trip. That helps to kind of follow the trail or let you know where you're going to the lake or whatever side you're on. Yeah. Yeah.
So like there was quite a few rock stacks on the property, and there was one particular one that had caught my eye, and I was looking at it, and the thing I noticed about it was that the particular way the sun was hitting the stack of rocks and casting a shadow on the ground looked like a meditating Buddha.
Oh, that's crazy.
So here I am. I'm at the stupa. I see rock. I see Buddha on the rock. Then I see Buddha shadow made out of rocks, right? So Buddha rock, Buddha. And then here I am in my situation. And I was like coming out of rock and roll at the time. I had, just like my band and stuff like that. And I was on this path of self-discovery, awakening, becoming, aware and awake and following a Buddhist path, if you will. I hadn't fully acknowledged that at the time. Yeah. But so it inspired me. That thought form just kind of never left my head. Rock Buddha. And it's always kind of been in the back of my mind this whole time. And it's funny that I'm talking about it now because just the other day I was doing some housekeeping on my computer, like my old pictures and stuff like that. And the spelling of it, RCKBDHA, where like we take out kind of most of the vowels and like kind of, consolidate the spelling.
It's like one word, right? That's the way I saw it. Yeah, Rock Buddha.
Boom.
Okay.
I thought I had come up with that spelling like way later on, like, somewhere around 2010 or somewhere around the time I think my son was born. And as I was doing this housekeeping on my computer, I realized that around that Buddha statue, people would write messages on pebbles and leave them there as a tribute or like, a prayer, if you will, just kind of something to leave your mark at that place. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, I had written Rock Buddha as it's spelled today on a pebble and left it there. And I'd forgotten I hadn't even done that. So like, this is something that I even forgot I did. So I'm like, dude, this is like, when it came, it's just something that like eventually it became part of like, I see, like how I am, like my personal brand, if you will. It's Rock Buddha. Dude. It's like two of my favorite things, rock and roll, Buddhism, right? And then it's also kind of like, not trying to say like I'm any kind of like spiritual teacher or whatever like that, but I do consider myself awake. Like
for sure.
I don't, like I'm not a Buddhist, but my goal is to be a Buddha. You know what I mean? I want to be awake and aware. You know what I mean? So Rock Buddha, like, and where, the Buddha like kind of renounced his life of being, a prince and living like a lavish life of luxury and being, royalty and whatever like that. I kind of renounced my life of rock and roll to live a humble, quiet life, with my friends and family, and pay attention to my spirituality. That's kind of, so there's another like little similarity there, dude. So,
well, I love the story though of kind of how it comes together, because number one, it's super cool. And number two, I love when things happen organically like that. It's not like you went out and you were like, and there wouldn't be anything wrong with this if you did either. People have cool ideas and create shit all the time, but like, you didn't go out and say, I'm going to create this thing and here it is and I'm going to do it. It happened organically, almost by accident. It almost happened. And so when I've had some things like that happen in my life, and I know that when that happens like that, that they're meant to be and that they're real. You know what I'm saying? It's really, really cool.
Absolutely. I mean, and not to discount the process and the practice of setting intentions and going out and achieving goals, because that is key to people. Like, you want to succeed in life, you got to go out, you got to live with intention, you got to set goals, stuff like that. But this particular thing, it was more of an organic process. Yeah. And it's become my little art project. And, basically, if you ask me what it is, it's me, like in a nutshell. It's like, it's all about, rock and roll, Buddhism, motorcycles, skate culture, hip hop culture, kind of rolled in there. Graffiti, I love graph, you know what I mean? So like the street kind of culture, tattoos, you know what I mean? Tattooed people, you know what I mean? And punk rock and all that stuff. And that's all the kind of stuff that I'm really about. It's all the kind of thing, the little flavors in my life that I kind of feed, I take from and whatever. And I just kind of throw it in this little thing. So right now what I'm doing with it is I'm making these stickers. I did a prototype design. And I made some stickers from this cool website called makestickers.com, and just to see what it'll look like, on a sticker, like, check it out. Yeah. And I made like 250 stickers. And then when I got them in, I was handing them out to friends and family. And then I got this idea about throwing it up on Instagram. And I was like, yo, if you want a sticker pack, just DM me your address and I'll send you, a few stickers for the low price of free.
Nice. Hell yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So really, aside from the money that it cost me to get the stickers made and, my work that I put into like doing the design, it only cost me like 40 cents to send out stickers to like a bunch of people. So I was able to do that. And I was like, look, all I ask is that you tag #RockBuddha and then tag my Instagram, which is Real Dave Buckner. Yeah. And, throw them up in cool spots, take a picture and tag me in it. And let's see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's dope.
And so that actually went really well. I got, I don't know how many, I think I got like 60 orders out. I was able to fulfill like 60 requests for sticker packs, and they're all out and about. And I'm now currently getting those in. People sending me pictures of where they stuck them, like on their car or like on their laptop or, awesome. Wherever, what may have you. So I'm going to, as soon as I get a bunch of those in, I'm going to do a photo album on Instagram and just kind of show where people have been putting them. And so now I'm on to round 2. I did another design, which is Rock Buddha. I redesigned the logo, tightened it up a little bit, made it look, in my opinion, a little bit cooler, and incorporated a little bit more elements of some things that I had seen that I thought were lacking in the original design. It's kind of, keep it up, develop it a little bit. And so now I have these stickers that are on a gold background. It says Rock Buddha, and there's a slogan underneath it, or something like a term underneath it. I'm not sure what the word is, but
I'm looking at it right now. It says I am nowhere, I think. Is that right? But it's
all right. Good talk. So check this out. Yeah. Here's the thing. So actually it says I am now here.
Oh, I am now here. I see now. Now I see. Yeah.
Okay. And that speaks to me, that's something that came to me in a meditation, actually. Huh. And what that speaks to is the I am, right? Which is the presence of God in this world, right? People, I don't know if you've ever heard of it referred to that way. The I am, right? Yeah. Now here. So like the I am is now here. So like God is in my life, and also it means like I am now here. They always say like be here now. You ever heard like that Ram Dass book, Be Here Now, be in the moment, be in the present moment. I am now here. It's acknowledging that you are now here, right?
Yeah,
that's
dope.
Here's the catch, bro. There's 2 ways you can read it, right? Just like as you caught. You can read it, I am now here, or you can read it, I am nowhere.
That's how I read it. That's what I saw first. That's crazy.
And a lot of times, it happens to me too. Sometimes I'll look at it and I'll read I am nowhere, but I take it as an acknowledgement of where I'm at in my spiritual health. So I know if I'm seeing I am nowhere instead of I am now here, I better get out and get out of my head and go do something to help somebody. Like it's my mission at that point to step out and go do something, go do a good deed for the day to bring it back around.
Word, dude. I better get outside right now. There's lots of people outside I can go help right now.
You're doing it right now. You're having me on your show. That's a good deed. You know what I mean?
That's fun, dude. I love the writing too. I love the style of it. I'm checking it out. It's on your Instagram page. That's what I pulled up right now. And two, let's plug that real quick. It's at Real Dave Buckner. If you guys out there listening want to check it out, check out the Instagram page. But dude, yeah, that's super dope, bro. We just got some new stickers in too. We'll have to trade a couple, bro. That'd be awesome. I love it.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm down.
Really cool.
Let me tell you what I'm doing with these stickers, man.
Yeah, let's hear it.
The story gets deeper. The plot thickens.
Hell yeah.
So now the first round I was giving them out for free. This round I'm going to sell 3 sticker packs, right? 3 stickers for $5. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to take 1/3 of the proceed, right? 1/3 over like the cost, the profit, if you will, or whatever. 1/3 of that out of that $5 is going to go towards two different nonprofits that I support, 2 different causes. One is Rock to Recovery, which is my boy Wes Geer from he's the original guitar player for Head PE, but he was also in Korn for a long time. And now he's doing this project that he's working on, this company called Refuge Recovery, not Refuge Recovery, Rock to Recovery, where they go and they help recovering, I believe it's veterans and just other people. Like they go
I think it's people in treatment centers too.
People in treatment, right? Yeah. People in treatment centers, and I believe they work with veterans. I'm not sure, but I think you're right. I think they do. I had them on the show a long time ago. I'm trying to look for what episode it was, but yeah, I think you're right. I think it's veterans, people in treatment, and they create music there, right? Yeah, man. They work with addicts, and if you play an instrument, great. If you don't, I think they can even teach you. But like, you go into a session with them and you write a song about recovery and uplifting, and it's great therapy for like addicts and people like us, and it helps get the energy out, and like, it's cleansing for the soul, right? Music is cleansing for the soul. So 1/3 of the money is going to be split between Rock to Recovery, which is Wes Geer and Sonny Mayo. Sonny Mayo's from Snot, by the way. Fucking amazing.
Snot. Yeah, fucking love awesome. Snot, dude.
So those 2 cats, and then the other half of the third is going to go towards Noah and his new Refuge Recovery Center down in Venice, which I actually just attended a meditation Dharma talk on Monday night. We were down in LA, so I was like, dude, let's go hit up Noah and see what's the haps down there. So we actually got to be in the room instead of just watching it on Instagram live. Yeah. And that was a great experience. So that's what I'm doing with it. So, and then the rest of the money, aside from that, I'm going to roll into making more stickers to hopefully make, bigger, badder stickers, and then continue the process from there. I'm just really trying to grow the thing organically, baby steps. Like I kind of was talking to someone the other day about, if you look at Obey, right? Shepard Fairey's thing, and how it really just started off as these little stickers. I remember being in junior high and taking the bus to school. I lived in Santa Monica at the time. I'd be taking the bus to school or taking the bus around town, riding the big blue bus, and I would see these stickers that says Andre the Giant has a posse, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so fast forward, 30 years later, and like that now has become Obey. It's like this, it's this giant movement, and Shepard Fairey and his career and whatever. Not to say I'm trying to become Shepard Fairey or anything like that, but it's that same model of taking it from street art, skate art, humble beginnings, and just seeing where you can grow it from there. So yeah, that's what I'm doing with it.
I love it, dude. I love the approach on that too. Just a little bit at a time. I think that's a good example too. Like, it's okay to have a goal, have a vision, have something in mind, but at the same time, just be patient and take it slow and do one step at a time. And most importantly, bro, I can tell in your voice and just by your explaining it and talking about it that you're having fun with it, dude. And that's the most fucking important thing, I think.
And that's the key. That really is the key, because, it's something that I'm doing that I feel like I can contribute to my community and do something positive. And this is where living with intention comes into play, because part of the Buddhist path is like, not only, being mindful and meditating, but also the way you live your life with ethics and with, right action, right speech, right intention, right livelihood. So, it's something that I wanted to do because I'm like, you know what, man, like, I could give them out for free and spend my own money, and I could do that for a while, but like I gotta, I'm not like, Mark Zuckerberg or like Elon Musk or somebody, I'm not like,
Yeah.
So like, it's like, why don't I just like, charge a little bit of money. People are going to get a great deal on it, and I can roll that money back into making more stickers.
Yeah.
And then also it supports two great causes, dude. And so like, if you want to get behind that, hit me up on my Instagram. I haven't posted about it yet, so you're actually getting the first scoop on this, Shane.
Nice, bro.
I just got
Sweet.
I got my new round of stickers in today, so I'll probably be making a post about it shortly. And
so this will go live that we're doing right now on the 3rd, which is in just a couple of days on Friday the 3rd. And so, dude, that should be perfect, bro. A little announcement at the same time. And dude, I mean, I think it's badass. And then who knows, dude, rolls up, maybe, soon enough you get some shirts made up, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just really, really cool, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I've already had some one-offs on shirts, just to kind of see how it looks. And like, I'm kind of feeling it. I want to get some good designs. I'm also, like I'm an artist. Yeah. I'm really more of like almost like a creative director. It's a big part of the work I used to do when I was with Papa Roach. Like I did a lot of the creative direction. I'm the one who designed the dead cockroach logo. I designed like the original logo. I did a lot of like creative direction work on our old albums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's really part of like who I am and what I am, like how I like to express myself creatively. So I'm actually like, aside from my own designs and what I can do, I would like to find talented people to partner with.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So when it does take that next step into like maybe being a merch thing or a lifestyle brand thing or whatever, I would like to have some killer designs that revolve around this thing that I just described to you, that is also, people like me, like I said, rock and roll, Buddhism, punk rock, skate culture, graph culture, bike culture, tattoo culture. That's where it's coming from. So if you know anybody like that, if you're listening, if you know anybody like that, if you are somebody like that, by all means, holler at me. I'm not quite there yet where I'm ready to take it to that level, but I would love to have people in my corner ready to go when the time comes.
Hell yeah, bro. I need one commitment from you, Dave. We're homies.
Sure.
I got to have one commitment. I want the first ever Rock Buddha fanny pack, bro. That's what I want. I want the Rock Buddha fanny pack. I will wear it. I will wear it with honor, bro. That's so legit right there.
You got it, dude. You got it. I will custom make a one. Matter of fact, dude, you know what? I'll do one for you right now. I don't even need to print it, dude. I can like I can get one of those paint markers and like go to town on it. I'll hook it up. I just hooked up my aunt with some bands for her birthday. Like she bought me some blank canvas bands.
Oh,
right?
Nice.
And she's
I've seen those.
she was like, hey, would you hook these up with some Rock Buddha stuff on it? And I was like, I just went to town on them and they turned out great and she loves them. So if you want to say, yeah, dude, I'll hook you up, bro. Like, don't worry about it. I got you.
All right, man. That's good. Hey, we're a little over time. If you got just like 2 or 3 minutes, man, I want to hear a little bit about the Venice Refuge Recovery meeting in the new center. I know they just opened the new center down there. What was up with any new news on that or anything? And then we'll close this down.
Well, so yeah, man. Noah's kicking butt down there in Venice. He's got his Refuge Recovery Center open. It's a really cool spot. It's partnered in with there's a tattoo shop downstairs, and then next door, it's a 2-story building. There's a tattoo shop, and then there's his space next to it. And then he also has an upstairs where actually I think they do the treatment. If you want to look deeper into that, if you need to get into recovery and you want to if you're looking for something a little bit different, go on Instagram or go on Google online. Search Refuge Recovery and the new Refuge Recovery Center. I think they got that. They got programs kicking off there already. And then he also just opened up like a sober living house somewhere in Venice, I believe.
Cool. Yeah.
So yeah, dude, he's killing it down there. He's killing it in the game. And I'm getting more and more tied in with, like sort of like the Buddhist rock and roller culture down there. There's like there's this profile on Instagram called Dharma Brigade that I support. And then Noah's thing. I got my Rock Buddha thing flying. So it's like, it's becoming a culture. And that's something that I feel like I can really, I can kind of hang my hat on, like, being a part of that. And I'm stoked.
They do at Refuge meetings. They'll occasionally have like like just like they do in AA, right? Somebody who will share, like a speaker. Do they do that at?
They don't on the Monday night meetings. That is just a meditation and Dharma talk.
But do they do it just in general, like in general meetings all over?
I believe so. Because in the meeting we went to together. And by the way, thanks for reminding me. I think I probably should go hit a Refuge meeting here pretty soon. It's it's something I feel like I should do. But yeah, like part of the meetings is it's kind of a AA-ish format where like you begin out, you have introductions, and then you do the meditation, and then afterwards, I think everyone in the meeting is able to share a little bit of their experience, strength, and hope. And it's funny because like coming from so many years of 12-step programs and stuff like that, everyone's kind of not everyone, but a lot of people are coming over from 12 steps. So like a lot of those same habits, if you will, and those same attitudes and perceptions on how a meeting should feel and what we should talk about is all kind of bleeding over into it. But then there's also people who are coming new into it, bringing fresh ideas,
which is
and
cool
fresh.
Too.
Yeah. So it's kind of growing into its own thing. And like, like whether you're following a Refuge path or the 12-step path, I mean, Refuge is like, 4 noble truths mixed with the eightfold path. So that's 12 steps, right? The 12-step program is coming from 12 steps. So it's like, and you'll find like a lot of the ideologies and stuff like that. It's all like the kind of the same. It's the same ethics. It's the same teachings.
I think it even says in I can't remember which book it is, if it's the Refuge book itself, but I think it states in there, like, it's not like, they didn't create this program to replace any other programs. It's just to be used as is and as needed, or in addition to a 12-step program. It's not like you have to do one specific thing, right?
Yes, and like
I always liked that. I thought that was great.
In the book. Yeah, it's like, hey, it's not trying to like replace it, but I mean, it can stand alone as a means to finding sobriety as well. I mean, like, I've done the 12 steps a few times. I highly recommend, if you're new in sobriety, go check out a 12-step program, see if it's for you. And if it's not, try this other thing.
Yeah.
Check it out. Or if you're in a 12-step program and you want to do something to reinforce, like if you're having maybe problems with some people have issues with the God thing. I don't particularly. Like I'm a believer in God. Like, it's part of who I am and my belief system. Some people do. Refuge Recovery does not require you to believe in God. It's basically, and it takes, it requires that you take full responsibility for all the work that you put into your own recovery. Yeah. Which I find was immensely powerful and key in kind of giving me back my own power in life.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I just think people get caught up on that so much, like that it has to be this way or that way, or if it's not like this, then it's wrong, or if it's not like that, it's wrong. It's like, just like you said, man, like, it's okay to try new things out, to give it a shot, see what works for you. And I'm just speaking in general to people out there listening. Like, it's okay to kind of check some new stuff out and figure out what works for you best. One last thing, dude, and then we're going to go. The reason I was mentioning about the sharing sometimes, because, and I hope Seth doesn't mind, but I know they're going to be starting a Refuge meeting out in Winters, dude. And maybe if you're up for it sometime later on, once they get it going and stuff, maybe you can come give a share or something at one of the Refuge meetings, man. That'd be cool.
Dude, that would be cool, man. I don't know if they have like a speaker so much as like in the 12 steps, like in the format, there's sometimes a speaker for the night. I think it's more of like meditation, and then everyone like kind of shares.
That's how it was when we went in SAC, right? It was just,
so
we kind of shared.
I think that's kind of more the game in the format on the Refuge side. But you know what I mean? If I would love to pop into Seth's meeting in Winters and go check it out, and like just get dive into the Sangha over there, get to know some people, and just connect with more people like me.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. It's good stuff, dude. Dude, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for taking some time out, man, and kicking back and talking some recovery, sharing a little bit about the Rock Buddha, dude. I think that's awesome, bro. Good luck with all of that. Anything else you want to add, bro, before we take off?
That's really about it, man. And so, you know, like we were saying earlier, if you wanna buy one of my new sticker packs, that's gonna be 3 stickers for $5. Hit me up, DM me on Instagram at Real Dave Buckner, and we work out. I got a PayPal for it, so we can PayPal me the money, and then I'll get some stickers out to you, and you know, let's rock and roll.
Be sure to check us out at thatsoberguy.com for past episodes and resources. Also, you can connect with us on Instagram at RealThatSoberGuy or on Twitter at Shane Raymer. Dave, man, once again, bro, thank you so much, man.
1,000 gratitudes for having me on, Shane, man. Love you, bro.
Love you too, man. Thank you. Peace, love, respect.